Number 1. When I was about 12 years old and started getting left alone at home, something used to shush me. I'd be pouring cereal, singing along with the TV, and suddenly, shh! First time it happened, I absolutely crapped myself and I didn't say a word until someone came home because I didn't think anyone would believe me. I'd even start to convince myself it was just my imagination, but then it would happen again. I think it happened about 5 or 6 times. One Saturday morning, I was in my top bunk, and the beds were super noisy, and the slightest of moves would result in them cracking. Shh! I thought it was my younger sister, and I decided to annoy her further. I started rocking about in my bunk, making as much noise as possible. And suddenly, shh! I chuckled, still thinking it was my sister, and then she whispered nervously from below, "Was that you? The Shawshank, was that you?" I put my head down and said, "No, it was you." She looked terrified, her eyes rolled up with tears, and she said, "No, it wasn't." She ran out of the room crying and wouldn't come back in for a long time. I realized it must have been the Shashi ghost, and I was overcome with relief that I wasn't crazy because someone else had actually bloody heard it. Number 2. When I was in high school, the days before cell phones were common, my friends were to come over to pick me up from my house. It was one night. Everything was basically planned at school for them to pick me up at 7 p.m. At 6, my parents said I had to come with them to do something, and I totally forgot to call my friends and tell them. They came to my house at 7 p.m. and called the house phone. No one answered. There was 4 of them in the car. They all told us the same exact story. They said they were about to pull out of my driveway, but they saw someone peek through the blinds from the bedroom on the top floor. That was my room, so they just assumed that I was fucking around. 5 more times they said that someone would peek through the blinds, and a couple of them they even saw the person's eyes. We got home at probably 10 past 7, and they were still in our driveway. One of my friends came over and said they thought I was messing with them. Then they asked me, "So who's staying in your room?" I told them that no one. So they asked, "Who's at your house right now?" Again I told them no one. The stone cold faces then told me what they had seen repeatedly over the last 15 minutes. At first we all thought there was a burglar in the house or something, so we called the cops. They came over and inspected the house. There were 0 signs of break-in. Nothing was touched, nothing was stolen. Our house had an alarm on it, so there was no way someone could actually came in the house without setting off the alarm. My family, my friends, and the cop all kind of stood up around for a few minutes, trying to make sense of the situation. My friends roared up and down that they couldn't have imagined what they saw. All 4 of them saw the same things. And it wasn't particularly a dark night, so their eyes couldn't be playing tricks on them. To this day, none of us can make sense of the situation. Number 3. I was working at a night shift at the call center, and it was a slow night. So I was watching Netflix or YouTube or something. We have a camera that looks at the back door, and I saw someone walking down the hall. I didn't recognize him, but not wanting to get into shit, I quickly closed Netflix and YouTube. A couple of minutes go by and I don't see anyone, but I notice a door had shut that usually stays open. So I go there, open it back up. I still don't see anyone in the office, so I do a check of the entire building, and nobody was around. I get back to work and wait for my shift to end so other people can come in, thinking that somebody might pop up behind me any second. Night shift comes in and I tell my manager. They gave me a look like I'm crazy. Then I left. Next night, I go to work and they tell me that they checked over the recordings. At basically the moment I saw someone walk in the video, froze on a single frame for about 30 minutes. Video starts up again as soon as the door closes, and shortly after I go open it again.